Alright, good afternoon folks. Welcome to another round of Late in the Day, your favorite beverage and questions. What we're going to talk about today, let's talk about Harbor Freight's knife sharpening stones. Are they any good? Kinda. It depends on what you're going to use them for, and this is just my experience. I don't expect everybody to agree with me. The Harbor Freight stones, are they good for knife sharpening? And I would tell you, kinda. You know, but the reason why is one side is very coarse. It's super coarse. I don't even know what the grit is, but this is like lava stone coarse or something. And the other side is a medium. Okay. However, I don't use this so much for knife sharpening, although you could probably go ahead and try it and do it. I'm going to pan over in a minute, and what I use this for is like on the top of my bandsaw, table saw, my lathe, the ways on the lathe, they get gummed up and they get kind of rusty, nasty sometimes. This comes in really good for cleaning it up, let's say, and leveling it back out nicely. As long as you don't get too carried away. I mean, this should last you quite a while. It's $3. So in the complaints section, when people are like complaining about how fast the stone wears away and it's this and it's that and they carry on, look, it was $3. Okay, you're not going to get a AAA grade kind of sharpening stone, I mean, for $3. So it's just not going to happen. And I'll show you another one better in a minute for knife sharpening, and then we'll kind of go from there. So this is what I use this for. But let's talk about the knife sharpening first, then I'll show you how I use this one from Harbor Freight. Okay. This one I've got is a pretty good stone. This one's got 1,000 grit on one side, and it's got an even higher grit. I don't remember if it was 4,000 or whatever on the other side. All you really need, in my opinion, okay, other people are going to disagree that are expert knife sharpeners, all you need is 1,000 grit. If you had some of them, I've got another one inside that goes from 800, which is nice as long as you're not using just like, you know, some flat piece of steel. But the 800 will put a nice profile back on it. The 1,000 will make it almost razor sharp. I mean, where you can just slice through things so easily. I got a knife here. Now this one's not totally dull. Somebody said, well, what's the easiest way to go about doing this? Okay, you can fold a piece of paper into a 90, fold it again into a 45, fold it a third time, and then, you know, you're down to 22.5, which is usually the correct angle of most sharpening knives. Another way is setting it on the stone. You can put like a couple pennies under it, and that tells you about how high up here, you know, you want this. I don't do any of those methods. I'm not a professional sharpener. There's plenty of YouTube videos. If you just take a Sharpie and just run it down this edge at an angle and you create a black line, and I do that on both sides, just like that, and I can see it. It might be a little hard for you to see. Okay, now I have my stone. I'll use the 1,000 grit side. So I'm just putting water on the stone, or you can soak the stone before using it. The choice is yours. This is just home handyman DIY way of sharpening knives. So I got it nice and wet. I got my black mark on there. Okay, I keep it right there, about a 20-degree angle. I keep even pressure. Don't push down real hard. Just push down, bring it towards you, do it again. I do 5 times each side, and I can turn around and you can put a little more water on this if you want to. Come here, it's about the same. So when I've done that on 5 times to each side, I just kind of feel it like this, and it feels pretty sharp. Up here it feels sharper like a razor, but you can keep with that angle. You'll learn to do this after a while to keep that angle almost consistent. But once that black mark is gone, you know you've recreated an edge on here, and it's good enough. It's incredibly sharp. It's good enough for me for cooking or whatever else stays sharp a long time. Of course, that depends on what steel the blade's made out of. If it's cheap steel, don't expect it to hold an edge that long. It'll work. Clean the knife off real well, and well, let's see. Let me find something to cut. So I got a piece of plastic. All right, just cut a big piece off. So, and if you want to deburr it, you can just drag this across the edge like this on both sides on a piece of cardboard, which is kind of a incredibly fine piece of abrasive material anyway, and it'll deburr it for you. Kind of a cheap DIY way rather than buying some kind of a deburring device or tool. Incredibly sharp, works fine. So let's talk about what would I use the Harbor Freight one for. Let me pan over, I'll show you. Okay, here's the way of my lathe, and sometimes it gets really bad, like over here. In this case I'm using PB Blaster. You can make your own by just mixing a little bit of ATF and acetone 50-50. And then I just turn around. Alright, so you can see it hasn't really damaged the stone that much. Alright, let's see. I can feel a little bit of that grit on there still. There we go. Alright, so there's one side compared to the other. It got pretty darn clean, and it got all of that grime off of there. And if I feel this, it's hard to explain. It feels nice, smooth. And because of the PB Blaster and that little bit of ATF I told you, you can do it that way, spray this on. But I always keep a little bit of kind of oil or lubricant on here just so it doesn't rust out on me. Best thing I've found is after it dries real good, I use a little bit of Johnson's paste wax, and I do that every 6 or 8 months, but I live in desert cities, so it doesn't rust out quick anyway. But you do the same thing to both sides, the whole thing, whatever you want to do. So that to me is what these $3 ones come in good for. You might be able to get away with it sharpening your knife. I don't know. I would tell you to use a better stone. The links are below. I'm the Home Handyman. I hope you click subscribe. I hope you keep following me. I'll see you on the next video. You know something better, drop it in the comment below, or a better way. And I thank everybody for watching. Have a good day, folks. Bye-bye.